Hello everyone, and welcome back to Topiks. Today's story is all about generosity and teaches us that even a small gesture can make someone's day. But before you start, remember to like this video, follow us on our channel, and click on the notification bell for other beautiful stories. Birthdays are meant to be the best day of the year, especially for a child. There's nothing more exciting than celebrating with your friends and loved ones. But everything doesn't always go as it should. The birthday of the protagonist of this story started in the worst possible way. Not only did he not have a party with his classmates as he'd hoped, even his own mother let him down and didn't pick him up from school. But the day took a completely different turn when a policeman picked the kid up from school instead of his mother. The child protagonist of today's story is called Tom. On the morning of his birthday, Tom woke up more excited than ever and immediately ran into the kitchen expecting to find a nice birthday cake. But to his great disappointment, there was no cake, no presents, nothing. His mother must have forgotten his birthday. There's nothing sadder for a child than seeing his birthday go unnoticed, forgotten even by his mother. However, Tom decided that he wouldn't let it get him down, hoping that mom would make it up to him later. While his mother was driving him to school, however, Tom couldn't hide his disappointment and asked her if she'd forgotten what day it was. Mom burst out laughing and reassured him she hadn't forgot his birthday at all. On the contrary, she'd thought of an incredible surprise for after school. She'd organized a party with all his classmates. Tom was over the moon now and couldn't wait for school to be over and his birthday party to arrive. His mother had even given him a bag of candy to share with his classmates. Neither Tom nor his mother, however, could have imagined that that party would never happen. Tom's mom was a single mom and worked very hard to get her and her son to the end of the month. She had 3 different jobs starting at 5 a.m. and ending at midnight. Even though she worked an hour and a half away from home and her day was so stressful, she always arrived just in time to pick Tom up from school. Since she was working so hard, she took a special leave for that day, as she wanted to make sure she could spend her son's birthday with him. Meanwhile, the last bell had finally rung at school. Tom had asked his classmates if they were ready for his party that night, and he was so excited. But once out of school, all the parents of his classmates had arrived to pick them up, and Tom was waiting outside for his mother. She was usually always on time, so Tom kept waiting, expecting his mother to arrive at any moment. However, he was soon the last child left, and he had no clue where his mother was. Eventually, one of the teachers realized that Tom was out there alone and went to ask the child who he was waiting for. He answered that he was waiting for his mother, but she hadn't arrived yet. Then the teacher walked Tom back inside the school and looked for his mother's number to contact her. But as soon as she was able to call her, she had a nasty surprise. Apparently, Tom's mother had been involved in a small car accident, just as she was leaving the parking lot after work to go and pick up her son. Luckily, she was fine and nothing serious had happened, but the police had to step in, and she had no idea when she'd be able to get to school. So the teacher took Tom to the secretary's office where she looked for the child's enrollment documents. There had to be another emergency contact somewhere. But while searching through the papers, the teacher heard Tom tell the secretary it was his birthday, and he was looking forward to his party that night. The teacher didn't have the heart to tell him that there probably wouldn't be any celebration. But after 10 minutes of searching in vain, the teacher soon realized that Tom's file was incomplete. There was no alternative contact. The only emergency phone she had was Tom's mother's. The teacher had to do something. She couldn't leave Tom all alone. So she decided to do the only thing she could think of at that moment: call the police, which was the standard procedure to follow in those cases. The police station immediately sent Officer Daryl Robinson, who arrived at the school and recognized Tom immediately. He'd already seen the child and knew that that day was his birthday. Fortunately, Officer Robinson knew Tom's grandfather, so he immediately called to tell him that he would be taking his grandson to his home. But before taking him to his grandfather's house, the policeman asked him if he could give Tom a ride into town in his police car since it was his birthday. Tom's grandfather agreed and Tom couldn't wait. He had to sit in the back and couldn't make the siren sound as loud as he wanted, but he still seemed to enjoy it, said Officer Robinson. The policeman was very sorry that the plans for the boy's birthday had gone up in smoke, so he decided to think of something special himself. The car ride was just the first surprise. The afternoon was still long, and it was time for a snack. The city cops had a meal voucher for a sandwich at McDonald's, so Officer Robinson decided to use it to offer Tom a cheeseburger. Tom was overjoyed. He was at McDonald's and with a real cop in uniform. But it didn't end there. Tom had no idea that there was another surprise waiting for him. The policeman had one last thing in store for him. He decided to take him to the police station for a personalized visit. Some fellow cops had even found some presents for Tom, some stickers and some sticky tattoos. Tom was immensely grateful to Officer Robinson for helping to make his day so special. The story of Officer Robinson's kindness moved the whole community and even made the papers. I'd love to have on Tom the impact that my first police captain had on me, and to see this great kid choose a career in the police one day, said Officer Robinson. I didn't know this story was going to end up in the newspapers. Officers do things like this every day. And I'm not just talking about the police. I'm talking about other public service jobs. Teachers, social workers, we all do our best to try to improve the life of the community. It's not something special. That's all for today, friends. Thanks for watching this video, and until next time.